Hello guys. So now let's talk about a little bit about defining functions, creating your own functions. The functions that we've used so far is the print function, the type function, and these functions are built-in functions. They know what to do because it is already been defined to them and told to them what to do with Python. Now let's a little bit talk about certain functions as follows. For example, let's talk about the following. Let's talk about, let's define, first of all, let's define a variable and assign a sum to it, for example. And now let's create our own function. The function, let's call it my function. So how are we gonna go about creating a function like the print function and called my function? Let's see. We are gonna use def for define. So define a certain function. Let's call it my function, my func, or my func, my fun. Okay, my fun is better. Okay, my func. Okay, my function. And then over here you can add the two brackets. I always told you that any function with Python has brackets, and inside the brackets we enclose the arguments. All right. So now you're defining a function. Python is a very much syntax sensitive, meaning when you're defining a function, you need to nest. Nest means you add an indentation here. If you don't add an indentation, it will not work. So you need to use the tab here so you can get a little bit away from the beginning of the line and then add print and say print. Let's print something like Professor Nora is so awesome. Python is, and let's say Python is, and we are going to add X, for example. But let me just add a little space here. Make sure that you have some space here left. So Python is X. Okay, and then let's see. Would it work nicely? Oh, syntax error. Oh, there's something missing here. There's another thing that I would like to also pay your attention to. When you're defining a function, if you are accustomed like me to writing with maybe you started learning C or any other programming languages, R, C, Java, so many programming languages you went through, then this is one of the things you need to remember at all times, that you need to add this colon after defining a function. All right, so define a function, and this function is my func, and this is what's inside the function. This is what the function does. Print this, and maybe I would like to add something else. Maybe I want to print also a type of X. Also, I could do that. I could put and add there as many as possible. I could also print at the end and say end. And that's it. You can do whatever you want. So now, what do? Do you add something like a print my func, for example, and then you execute that? Look how the printed value is going to be function my func at blah blah blah. Maybe I should add something like that. Python is awesome. You see, here's you printed my function. So you printed my function, and my function is the following: print Python is awesome. Type X is a string. X is a string, awesome. And then end. And then they added here none. Okay. So can I also do something usually done? For example, can I just put here my func? Something wrong gonna happen. Look, it's gonna give me as you can see here, is not gonna do anything. Do you know why? The idea, and do you see when you print my function what's going to happen here? Python is awesome, Python is awesome, Python is awesome, Python is awesome. Class string end, class string end. What's happening here? Oh my goodness. Now I'm in trouble here. It's continuously looping. You see the problem? There are two, you see guys, there are two cursors here. There's this one in within the output and there's the external one. So use the external one to go back to the top. So what's happening here? And I want you to see the difference if you put my function without indentation. You typed my function, if you type my function like me as with the intended, this means with the indentation here, this means that my function here, my function is actually going to print Python is awesome, the type, and then also execute my function again. So it will going to keep executing my function again and again, but it will never end. There is no ending point here. So this my function, even though you defined it already, it has become a part of itself. So this is a problem. So make sure that you have no indentation when your intention is to return the value of my function. So over here, we have returned the value of my function. So when we are doing my function, it's going to return what's inside it. So we are executing my function. We are executing it by returning Python is awesome. The type is class string and end as a text here. Now, if we print it, it's going to give us the same exact thing. It's not going to give us any trouble. But when you print it, it's going to add something like none to it. So we usually, if you want to get the exact values of the of what's I don't want to call it a black box because it's not black, it's very obvious. So all what's in that container of my function, you can just use my function without the print function. So you don't need to print my function, you just return my function. You see the difference here? You have none at the end, here you don't have none. So this is quite interesting how you are defining my function. Let me define my function again. But this time I'm gonna add the x inside. So I'm gonna add the x over here. Actually, this is not inside. It doesn't matter really. Let's get rid of this. I don't want you to. It doesn't matter really if x equals awesome is after or before, unless the indentation here is as follows. So this is, I'm going to call this x awesome, and I'm going to call this y equals super, or another x actually, why call it y, another x super awesome. Okay, and now I'm going to put here my function. However, what is it that I wanted to do? No, this not now, okay? Not now, I'm sorry, not now. Okay, so here, let's add a note here or a comment, and we say x here is a local variable because it is in the indentation. Let's see my function here. Maybe I shouldn't put awesome. So local variable x before the assignment. Do you see? So this is a problem here because you used x, but x is not defined. So you need to use it before. So now it's okay, right? So now I'm going to show you what is it that I wanted to, what's the point? Over here, you got a problem, right? But if you have the exact same thing before the assignment, it should be before the assignment. You see local variable x referenced before assignment, so it should be before the assignment. Okay, what if this is actually global? So this here x is global. Take a look. It's executed nicely with no error, even though you might think that x was in fact defined after its assignment. But this is global. This is local. So when this variable is local, it should in fact, when this is local, meaning there is an indentation, of course, this is what signals that it is local, it should be mentioned before, okay? But over here, when there is no indentation, this makes it global. All right, so this is, I thought, the good exercise and good example to show you the difference between local and global. Now I'm going to give you 6 different exercises that I would like you to work on and submit. I'm going to take a look at it and please submit it. So I'm going to type the questions along with you. So please type the questions and start working on it. So this is exercise 1. And with exercise 1, I want you to create a variable named car name, for example, and assign the value, for example, Volvo to it. Okay? Next, I would like you to do exercise 2. And with exercise 2, I would like you to create a variable named x and assign the value 50 to it. Easy peasy, right? Then in exercise 3, I would like you to display the sum of 500 and 100 using the 2 variables x and y. Easy peasy, right? We've done all this in today's session. Exercise 4, I want you to create a variable called z and assign x, x plus y to it and display the results. I think this is, yeah, because we already identify, declared x and y. Okay, good. And now, guys, exercise 5. With exercise 5, I want you to remove the illegal characters in the variable name to my first name equal John. And then print the value of the variable. So first you need now to retype this to my first name equals John in such a way that you get rid of all the characters that makes it illegal, that makes the name illegal, and then print it. Now I'm going to give you another exercise we haven't covered, but I want to see, and I want to show you how, with today's session, I hope for most of you, you will find it easy to infer and say, okay, maybe if I did that, it will work. Like you're gonna get smarter about reading the code. So at least if I give you a code, when you read it, you will be like, oh, I understand what this step is about, because I am not going to after giving you such a very in-depth introduction, I am not going to explain one line by one line in the future, because hopefully you will be good enough, just like my students who took the digital marketing, they are now good with reading the HTML code. This is my goal for you in this course. So look at this. Oh, sorry. Insert the correct syntax. And this is here, the correct X. And instead of this underscore, I want you to add the syntax, okay? So I'm gonna just put it, I'm just gonna put it as a comment, but I want you here to replace the underscore with the syntax, meaning plus, minus, something like that, okay? So, and this is equals to orange, okay? So insert the correct syntax to assign the same value to all three variables in one code line, okay? So you do that here and then you execute it. And I will see you then. I think the next video is gonna be about you do this assignment, and then the next video is gonna be a very short video, and with this video is gonna be about conversion. But let me check first how many videos I've given you and how many minutes. And you need about 5, 10, 15, 20, let's say maximum 20 to 30 maximum to be able to do this assignment. So I think maybe this is it for today's lecture. I don't want to give you too much, and you just started with Python, and I'm sure some of you maybe are not as fast typers as myself, while others are very fast and faster than me. But I am sure that some of the students don't use both hands to type on the keyboard, so maybe they're not as fast typers. So for this purpose, I'm just gonna end today's session with these exercises, and next time we're going to talk about variable type conversion. Good luck, take care.